Hello and welcome back. We are out here continuing our Brazil run in Victoria 3. Last episode, we cranked up construction to 1k and we said money's not real, it can't hurt us, except for this episode, it's probably going to hurt us. So we're going to be struggling to try and build into this. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like we can build into this, but this is one of those points where there's a chance we'll actually have to roll back some of the construction because I think we can build into a 300k deficit, but I'm not 100% sure. While this is going on, we are, of course, going after Persia. They have really good resources. In particular, they have a decent chunk of coal on a per infamy basis. This is one of the better places to go for coal now. That they got, I think, around 200 total coal, maybe something a little bit less. They have a lot of sulfur. We have a lot of sulfur, but they, in particular, do have really good mappy states, and so we'll be looking to incorporate them. And we wanted to get a really high infamy target in general because of the difficulties we've been having with Russia. They'll join every single play against us if we are fighting our own subjects because they see them as their own customs union member because the AI, or not the AI, but the diplomacy mechanics are kind of silly, and they get really silly in the instances of customs unions, so we do have to be careful about that. But this episode, we are going to be having a little bit of come up. Hopefully, we're going to go investment banks. We might go one more society tech, but then I think we want to renew our focus and kind of go a little bit focused on Navy. Navy seems a lot more important now in patch 1.5. We see Ironclad is not spreading, so gantry cranes would be a nice pickup because you generally want to pair these two together. It's very unlikely to not spread because there's going to be several different options it could be, and so by going gantry cranes, kind of we can facilitate a bit of a transition to a more modern type of navy, and there's not necessarily, human rights would be a nice tech, but we have a few laws we want to pass anyways before human rights, and so maybe we'll come back to human rights. Investment banks is going to unlock for us a very, very nice company, but without further ado, let's be off and on our way. So let's take a look at the company now that we can establish it. It is Campagna de Salitres. We're not going to try and pronounce the rest of it, but it is a very strong company. It's going to give us throughput on railways and sulfur, and notably here, you notice we do not have enough productivity to get the prosperity bonus. We're going to establish it and then talk about how we're going to try and get this productivity up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be pretty aggressive about using labor-saving PMs in our sulfur mines. So we're going to switch everything to steam donkeys, even if it's not going to be profitable, and then we'll switch everything to railroad transportation, but we'll do a little bit of an exemption just in case the stuff's not available there. We'll also put a lot of these things on auto expand now because they are going to generally become a lot more profitable, and we will look to export sulfur. In particular, anytime you are trying to increase the prosperity, anytime you're trying to increase prosperity bonus, prosperity is calculated by taking the output goods minus the input goods, so that's these goods minus these goods, and then dividing it by the total number of laborers. And so by using labor-saving PMs, such as transportation, we're actually going to use it anyways, we decrease the denominator that's going to be dividing by this. So we're going to do this for sulfur, and also on railroads, in particular, the prices are completely local. And so we have to do something pretty tedious to try and get these places to be profitable, is we have to come into this map mode, which this is the local price transportation prices map mode, and we're going to look at places like Jujuy, I don't know how to pronounce, for instance. We see that they have railroads that have really, really cheap transportation. Knowing that this railroad, its productivity is based on this minus this, right, which now it's 0 because it's losing money, divided by the total number of laborers, what we can do is we can increase the price of transportation by turning on the PM in more places, and we will have this come up. And so what we will be doing is we will be looking every place that has a railway potential PM, we're going to start turning on those PMs really aggressively. Now in 1.5.10, there is a new feature where you can kind of, you can switch rail transportation and then exempt places, and so this is going to exclude places that do not have a profitability or a chance at profitability, and so we will start turning all of that on now. And so hopefully this increases the price of transportation writ large. We have a lot of exemptions, as you can see, but by increasing the price of transportation, we should have much more profitable railways in general, and this will allow us to we're going to exempt a lot there. This will allow us to get a prosperity bonus. So we're going to take a quick look at the nature of what we've done. You know, coming in here, we haven't let this thing update. It's still at 7.3. If we wait a second, the productivity should be higher. It might not be high enough to quite get us into the realm of getting this bonus, but we really would like this bonus. The plus infrastructure and also the plus industrialist approval is going to be particularly nice for us because we are starting to enter a phase in the game where we are going to lead more into the trade unionists. We're going to be passing stuff the trade unionists like, and in general, the industrialists don't like what the trade unionists like, and so by doing this, we will be able to, you know, still maintain this 20% capitalist contribution, investment pool contribution efficiency, which is a free money modifier. It's really, really helping out. This number just being bigger is really good for us because it's creating money out of nothing, and so that's going to be pretty good. Now we see here we currently have one law pass that we're doing, and we have another law pass that we kind of want to do. I'm not 100% sure we can really get this one through now, though, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to unlock some flexibility here. We are going to research human rights in order to give us a bunch of law passes we like, notably because our leader, our ruler, dear Isabel, is an enlightened royalist. We can try and pass multiculturalism with a 5% chance, so this is maybe something we'll be interested in, but also this unlocks a whole bunch of things that we kind of want to pass anyways, like workers' protections, so we can get more pop growth, old age pension, which we're not going to, well, we might trend towards a little bit. Protected speech we're probably not going to do, but compulsory primary school we almost certainly want to do. Following this, I think we go into the Navy, and this will also give us a chance to maybe roll gantry cranes, natural spreading. We know ironclad is natural spreading, and so if we just wait until ironclad finishes before researching it, we might just high roll here, right? Because it's roughly a 1 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chance that we roll gantry cranes nat spreads. But if it does nat spread, then we don't have to actively research it. I don't think we necessarily want to push the tech too much. I suppose we could push for monitors, though. Is monitors a convoy? I think that this is a support one. I'm not sure exactly what branch monitors is in at this point. I think they actually might just be in with ironclads. They're just an upgrade of ironclads. Let's take a look actually real quick because we don't want to leave people hanging. So we will take a look on what class of ship they are. Frigates upgrades to monitors. Okay, it's perfect. Man of wars will upgrade to ironclads, and so we do kind of want to get monitors as well because we are a bit concerned about the Navy, which is why we're building it up. Anyways, Persia is, of course, not doing too hot. They are pushing us back off this one landing, but we have another, you know, group coming in, and in particular, we are pushing this. This is where we would have set the strategic objective. It doesn't let you set until after you land, but we've landed now, so we can set that as the strategic objective, and we'll be in there soon. We are also adding a good chunk of coal to the queue. Now, coal is an input for both the railways as well as the sulfur mines, and so by decreasing the price of the inputs, we are going to make the building more profitable because, again, it's our productive rather, because it's outputs minus inputs, and so we are now building up a whole bunch of coal. We're also going to focus on building up engines a little bit. We are crimped in a few ways. We don't have enough motor industries. We don't have enough, you know, steel. Obviously, we're suffering quite a bit. Hopefully, this is not going to be too big a problem, but they are subjugated now. With Persia, they have become a protectorate, and so we are, diplomatically speaking, going to mainly be in chill / join other people's plays mode / if Russia has a massive play, we will take the opportunity to annex one of the internals. Normally, you don't want to go over 25 infamy because it makes it hard to generate a customs union. It also makes it more likely that people generate attitudes towards you that are, you know, not cooperative, although in this case it is cooperative. But since we aren't managing our own customs union anyways at this point, and instead siphoning off migrants from Russia, we can fiddle a little bit with this diplomatic range. We also do want to be floating over, you know, the max influence for 25% infamy decay, so I think we'll actually come in here as well and take a look at the rivalries, and we will try and rival people who do not have a ton of diplomatic interests or are not that spooky. So for example, Greece and Honduras are perfect examples of people, if they side against us, we really couldn't care less. In fact, Greece, we actually would love to side against us because we can't attack them because they're in the Russian market. But if they join in against us, we would love to protectorate them because they have the very, are they a protectorate? No, they're just in the customs union because they have a very, very nice company, and so we would be down with that, as it were. So we've deleted down about 100 construction, which is kind of helping us stabilize. We are pretty close to defaulting here. We are also going to, in particular, expand out the rice farms a little bit. We're still doing it by hand. A lot of these places can't deploy up anyways, so it's maybe not going to be as effective as we would like, but the main hope behind expanding the rice farms is on a per construction basis. These add the most cash reserves possible to your economy, and so but obviously this isn't helpful if they're draining, and so what this will help us do, hopefully, is increase the rate at which the credit line is growing at a faster rate, so that we can avoid defaulting and still grow into this 900 construction, which is still probably a little bit beyond our grasp. We're going to try and export sugar and fruit to help facilitate this, and we'll let the grain kind of decrease in price as best as it can, because this will help to increase the SOL of our pops, which has a bunch of positive effects. And the lower rung pops, they're mainly consuming grain. So yeah, loud car, big nice. We really are starting to get crimped on pops as well. Specifically, we do have some peasants, but they're not in areas we want to build in. They're in like unincorporated states, like over here. Speaking of, we might as well incorporate the state because we're floating a bunch anyways. But what we are starting to do here is we are using kind of all of the labor-saving PMs that are available to us, as long as we can swap them over profitably. You see there, we cannot swap some of them over profitably, and in doing so, we are going to raise the average SOL because we don't have enough workers. We're trying to siphon them off from the Russian pops. You can see it's starting to uptick quite a little bit here, you know, just from us being flat, and then when we're starting to turn on some of these labor-saving PMs, these labor-saving PMs in general are profitable, which is going to be great for us, but we really need more labor here as well, and we are kind of hitting a point, we are hitting an intersection of like two kind of bad things happening, well, a bad thing and just kind of a normal thing happening at once. Generally, when you get steel frame buildings, you have a huge spike in how much money you're spending, and so that's one thing, that's thing one. But also, when you run out of labor, the price, the normal wage generally rises, and so you end up paying more for goods, government wages in general, although we see ours are trending down, so I don't know what that's about. Oh, that's because we're deleting construction sectors, we're deleting a few of these. But usually this cranks up, so maybe we're not experiencing that problem, but instead these marginal buildings are not quite as useful as we would like them to be, and so as we kind of, well, actually we have a depressive effect. This is why the wage is coming down, because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel to avoid defaulting here, and as you can see, like, it's just barely kind of keeping us. We're gonna float, not having the full construction queue going, just so we have a little bit of control, but this is like a semi-pause. As we try and get through this, we're actually going to increase government wages here, though, to try and re-inject a little bit more, which should stimulate the economy, but as we pull out of this, we're probably going to look to start lowering our taxation level to improve the population situation, because this will increase SOL, and as SOL comes up, you know, pop growth should go up, but it'll also increase migration as SOL comes up. So this is kind of the idea behind what we're doing, and we're going commercialized agriculture, and we get the ironclads. So now that we have the ironclads, we're just going to have to wait a week and see if gantry cranes is natural spreading. If it's natural spreading, which is not, modern nursing is, we would have come off of it, but instead we will just stay on it, and we will swap up. We're not going to swap up just quite yet. We're going to look to get out from under this, but then once we get out from under that, we will look to swap up to the ironclads. So normally this is not a tech we're very excited about, but in this case, because of kind of the situation we're having, this is actually going to be pretty nice. It's also going to really push up a demand for coal, specifically, but we are going to look to turn on rotary valve engines, specifically in industrial centers, and specifically we're going to start it on the tooling workshops and also the furniture manufacturers. If I recall correctly, these are the more efficient ones, and we're just going to check if they're profitable before we start switching on up. You know, this is going to be kind of what we are doing, and there's 4 places, which is Antioquia, Transvaal, Minas Gerais, and also in Freistadt. And so we're going to swap up on all of these. It is going to labor save a little bit. It's going to be quite nice. Generally not one we kind of look for too much. We actually might just be able to just completely turn... We can see where it's going to be profitable. I'm just a little bit leery of how good this button is, but we're going to exempt and switch a whole bunch of these tooling workshops over, which we see kill the productivity of a lot of the tooling workshops, so maybe this isn't a good thing. But we have a bunch of coal in the queue. Still a little spooky here. It's still a little... yeah, so we got 2 months, but, we can always increase taxes a little bit more, right? Yes, we can. Just a little bit, just the tip. Let's keep going. Hey, I forgot this was an event, but we get populating the Americas just in time. We got it because we researched civilizing mission in natural spread to us. I forgot this was a thing, but we of course do want to. There's civilizing mission. We want to bring the civilized people to the Americas. The truth hurts. Good old colonialism. And we will get Brazil is a vast and fortunate land, though it is sparsely populated. We must look beyond the seas, particularly to a troubled Europe, for potential settlers to work in our fields and factories. So we can get every incorporated state in South America gets a 25% migration attraction. Is this just permanent? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Oh, baby, that's going to be super nice. So let's kind of take a look. I think that we already have some modifiers here. No, so now we just have coming to America. We're getting like 10K here. This is an important place, but this is a place that's kind of gotten a lot of migration already. Now it's going to go up to... I said now it's going to go up to... Why'd you go down? Why'd you go down, my guy? This isn't in South America, so it's not going to be getting the modifier. But it was at 9K, then it went to... it was at 10K, then it went down to 9K, because apparently people don't know how migration works. But I'm assuming in some various other places... Actually, you know what? It's probably pulling migrants from here into other places. But this should help us quite a bit, have a little bit of a takeoff in terms of our pops, which is going to help rectify a lot of problems. A lot of our problems are we just don't have, the people to employ. If we take a look at the industry and we look at tooling workshops, high earnings, right? If we look at where all the high earnings are, you notice almost no peasants, except in places we do not really want to build that much. We are starting to build a little bit in California. They have a lot of people, they have a lot of job seekers, and also we built a university there. But for example here, which we are incorporating, this is kind of where we have the most pops. I mean, I guess we start to build, I guess we're going to build a uni here actually. That way we can try and start building a little bit. We have these naval bases that won't recruit up as a result of, not having enough boyos. Boyos who are qualified, rather, properly qualified. And by qualified, I mean, 18th century qualified, which means you have to be not discriminated against. Oof. The truth hurts in so many ways. But this should help us out, kind of get out from under this. We are kind of hovering over having about 1 million left in credit. We're doing stuff like decreasing this and then re-increasing it. I think after we start to have a little bit of a breakaway, rather than going back up to 1K construction immediately, I think we're going to lower the taxes one notch, and that this will overall be a little bit better for us. We will have to take a look, because we actually care a whole lot about the approval rate of both these guys. We see the industrialists are very happy, the trade unionists are not happy, so we're going to go with this option. We don't really need the approval chance, and we will be getting commercialized agriculture shortly. Although the whole point of going commercialized agriculture was largely so we could go maybe universal suffrage without the industrialists getting too pissed. Although maybe we'll have to work and figure something else out. Maybe we'll have to do something like this. Regulatory bodies might be a little bit better, especially because we have a movement for it, so that'll be nice. Alright, so we got some options. The first off is colonial. We can establish a colonial administration. We're just going to get rid of that journal entry because it's not worth doing, so don't do it. Now we have exploit the Amazons. We can get some, stuff up and going. We, notably, every time we have been doing this, we have been picking the migration attraction, but we will do that. And we have the populating Americas. So let's see what this is all about. We creates a migration target within our nation as its destination, and it gets attracting European migrants for 5 years. This is going to give us minus 100 authority, which is not that ideal, but we will get the event come to Brazil. So we might float... Come to Brazil, silver linings in every cloud, welcome to Brazil. Large numbers of Serbian people are attracted to Minas Gerais, which is perfect because this is a place where we really could use a lot of labor. We have a lot of places that are not fully employed, like you see, and they just can't get there, and so this is going to help out a whole ton, getting these places employed. See, this is exactly what we're talking about, and we're using all the labor-saving PMs. This will be super big nice. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to rake back one of these consumption taxes in kind of short order as a result of this, because we don't really want to float this minus 100. We can float it. It will just give us minus approval in everyone who's out of government, which looks like it's maybe not creating a breakpoint, so maybe we'll float it for the time being, but it will also generate radicalism, if I'm not mistaken, at a bit of a rate. 4% radicals from plus 4% radicals from SOL increases, and so we don't want to do it for too long, but we are kind of really threading the needle here, so I guess we're gonna have to for a little bit. So plus 500k migrants, that's more like it. It's also the surrounding areas, so plus 100k, plus 100k, plus 50k, plus 80k. This is going to be nice here. So this is, long run going to be well worth it. And of course, we will get more pop growth on these pops that are coming in as well. So with Russia a little occupied, we go to annex Chile, and our very favorite regime changer joins against us, which is the USA, of course. They only want a regime change in Sulu, so this shouldn't be too bad. We're planning on just annexing Chile and giving them this anyways, because we'd rather have Sulu be regime changed by them. But I wonder what their infamy is like, because they are leaving no pie unthumbed. Very big nice of them to not actually take California here and just put in a ton of devastation. They decided, since we didn't put anyone, gentleman's agreement, we didn't put anyone on the front, they're not going to put anyone on the front. They are hostile as all hell, though. Strengthen the nation, maybe this is the one. They seek to promote the power and reform agenda of nationalists in the military. Maybe this is why they built up a ton of flotillas, although they disbanded a ton of those flotillas. They have a really big navy, though. Or, sorry, really big army. That's pretty spooky considering the amount of conscripts they can bring to bear. And so, the United States seems a lot more fierce overall in this kind of... They're using the Crampy, the one, but they seem a lot more fierce in general. Where is their infamy? I was looking for their infamy. I just forgot how to use the interface. So I guess their infamy is not real. It can't hurt us. No, they're reputable. Just kidding. Just kidding. So we get the next tier of what's going on. Also, it seems like we've stabilized the money, by the way. So we'll probably be increasing construction soon. But we get exploit the Amazonian state instead of develop the Amazonian state. So let's see what let's see what it gives us. We now have Santa Cruz coming in. We can be 100% migration attraction. It's going to, for 2 years, have minus construction efficiency, discrimination, etc., mostly etc. But we will switch from being developed Amazon rainforest to exploited Amazon rainforest. So let's find Santa Cruz and take a look at this new modifier, which is going to be a little bit better. And we see we have exploited the Amazon here, and we have gone from, at the very start, at the outset, a 30% construction efficiency and infrastructure balance to 10, which is pretty manageable. And then we are getting 20% migration attraction on top of this, and agriculture throughput as well, on top of the building hardwood output. And it's important to note this is an output modifier, not a throughput modifier, and so it is going to be good. Although it looks like we're using altogether too much. Yeah, so we're going to turn down some of this. We will put on the steam donkeys so less people get fired, but we do want to make sure that transportation is not too crimped there as well. But that is kind of, we're on our way, and we have several of these, or we have several of these to do. We are now 1 out of 9. All Brazilian states are in exploit Amazonian state. We will also have to sign this treaty, so we'll take a closer look at that and this other treaty, and we'll take a closer look at this. But I think that this is just border treaties for the most part, and we're annexing everything anyways, so it's not too big a deal. So we decided to spend a little bit of our excess cash, and by excess I mean the amount that we can still run up and still not go into a default, and put it into more universities, and we are researching ahead of time, looking to get malaria prevention. The AI is way more aggressive about colonizing and getting into having colonization spots, which is going to make it way harder for us to secure a big big portion of Africa. Notably, we probably should have annexed Congo instead of something like Venezuela, which we kind of snuck in while Russia was at war, because we want to have another front, and so French socialism starts here. I'm not sure we're a fan of French socialism starting here. Because capitalism is really good till you have 800 million GDP, and we're not particularly close to that, so I think we're going to say, well, actually, maybe we should have done it. We'll probably get there without too much. Yeah, we're actually probably going to get there faster than we think. But I do think that being the first one onto this will be really good. I do think we need to annex Congo at some point, so this might mean in the near future we will be leaving Russia, because securing, I think, this portion is going to be really good. So we can either have someone replace the industrialist leader, this Sese Malay, who is, oh wait, this is the guy who's currently the leader. We can either have, for whom the bell tolls. The question is, the replacement is on everyone's lips. A character appears. Is it going to tell us, popular but inept candidate, the determined haughty youngster? Sure, let's go with the youngster. Let's see the new blood. Let's see the new blood. The new blood is a Republican. Well, that's not necessarily ideal. I guess they don't hate the elected bureaucrats, but we would have preferred a different ideology. It's something that kind of lets us pass some things. Right now, the trade unionists are upset with us, which is not nice. I think they do not like us going multiculturalism. Oh, man, that's smarts. We get a negative tick on multiculturalism. This one's going to be really hard to pass in general, because we're trying to pass it off the back of, her 5% that we're getting from her being the ruler, and this is generally just making it difficult. We're going to get legislative failures. We are on drafting, though, and we have only one setback, so we'll have decent chances from where we're at, but once we get this, then we'll probably want to start taking a look at maybe taking states off of China. I think that, I'm not sure, oof. I think they have quite a bit more power projection than us, yeah. I'm not sure exactly how good the AI is at swapping up to using later PMs, but if we take a look here, well, we can see that they're using irregulars and lancers. Well, if they're on that, then maybe we have a chance against them. We would like to take Chinese states for pops. This has kind of been what's been going on this episode, mainly solving the pop issue. You can see there is when we got our event, so that's a really substantive crank up, which kind of came just in the nick of time, and this is, of course, why we stabilized, I think, or a big part of why we stabilized is getting access to these pops. Now they're here, but their population, they added a lot to the population growth. Now that the 600,000 that were coming in are already here, they're adding, around a sixth of this or whatever is a result of them being here and growing themselves. So, not sure if I mentioned it yet, but Big Germany formed this episode, and Austria-Hungary is having, well, Austria-Hungary problems. We also have notably reduced taxes, kind of for the first time here. Again, flirting with disaster a little bit, but the main idea here is we're trying to increase SOL, which is going to have, it's going to increase our pop growth as well as increase migration. Not by too much, because a lot of our migration is based on unused arable land, but marginal construction is really not going to do the ticket too much for us anyways, so it's really not that big a deal. And so this is one thing that's going on. And also, we did manage to get a cheeky war with the Congo, where we first joined Russia on their side. The whole idea here is they cannot join a play against us while we're on a play on their side. And now that the play is fully escalated here on Congo and Russia can no longer join, we will just capitulate out of this Russia war, and we will be able to get a nice little annex down on the Congo. We'd probably send a few more troops over there that way. But this is going to be nice because this will give us a more surface area of ingress, which is going to be really nice because we're about to finish malaria prevention, which is another key technology, which is effectively going to give us more labor as we begin to colonize into here. They will be unincorporated states, so we will be able to siphon off more migrants from Russia than kind of normal. And, you can see our pop is growing pretty quickly here. And I think we're going to get the next ability to promote European migration sometime in the near future here, because we used it not too long ago, or, well, a little bit ago. And we also reduced autonomy here in Persia, which we will continue to do kind of on cooldown, and then look to annex them once the opportunity is nice. We have not annexed Ecuador because we're a little bit concerned about that bug. So I guess we made a little bit of an oopsie annexing both Argentina and Chile. I thought that they changed this so this couldn't happen, but France has colonized Patagonia, or has begun doing it, so we're probably going to have to trade state them later in order to get nice South American borders, but it's nice that the trade state mechanic is in here for that. Very much not nice, though, regarding this, and so I guess we shouldn't have annexed. Yeah, nah. And here we have it, the very big and important malaria prevention tech, which is going to, and camera, which is going to allow us to colonize, and just on time, because we just finished annexing here, and so this is going to make us colonize quite a bit faster. We're the first one on it, and so, actually, just kidding, the UK already has the tech, it looks like. Or is that having the tech? No, that's not having the tech. So we're going to be the first ones to have it, which is going to give us an advantage when it comes to doing this. Often this can be bugged out, so saving and reloading is always a good option, but this will allow us to secure a very big chunk of this, which is going to give us a little bit more labor. This is not the primary reason that we did it, but it is going to be a nice side effect, because there's a whole ton of resources in here, namely rubber, and so we can kind of try and secure a little bit of rubber. But before we conclude this episode, let's promote European mass migration. Yet again, silver linings in every cloud. They're going to migrate to Minas Gerais, which is going to, we're going to say, welcome to Brazil, my guys, and they are going to get this massive migration here coming in. It's going to be Portuguese, and we have a ticking, 8K, just 8K? What do you mean just 8K, Micronesia? Bring out the maps and straight edges, and let's see. Oh, this is perfect. We wanted regulatory bodies anyways, so we will just say enable regulatory bodies, a world to win with socialist ideas, etc., mostly Brazil. We will not capitulate. Nope, we are going to capitulate. We're going to get regulatory bodies, which is going to help with the population growth, because we will have fewer people dying because their jobs are so gosh darn dangerous. We will probably look to increase workplace safety office, so we'll say smell you later on that one. We were holding back on some spots in terms of the development, so we'll say, hey, we got standardized filing systems now, and we will crank this up all the way to max for workplace safety office, or at least up to this level up here, which is, close to max. I think we'll also do colonial affairs investment, just because we could afford to go a little bit faster, and then this way we can go to Minas Gerais and push this up to level 31 in the terms of the government administration, and that should be about right. Oh yeah, we wanted to see exactly how many migrants were coming in here. Once this thing updates, 176K, which is going to be super nice. Surrounding areas also getting big chunks coming in, which is going to give us an enormous amount of population. And so I think we're going to conclude the episode here. This episode, we largely were solving the problems that we created by going to 1K construction over kind of a short time period, but also we were kind of solving, well, part of this was we did a lot of migration and a lot of, population problem solving. We also subjugated Persia and reduced their autonomy, so they're going to be a good source of resources moving forward. Yikes. And so things are progressing quite well, and we only have one more country left to annex there. We do have to somehow figure out a way to get Patagonia from France, because I think it used to be the case that you would gain you would gain their claims when you annex them, but now this is not the case apparently, so always leave one of these guys if you're annexing until they colonize everything. But yeah, this has been this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a good one.